there. So let's start going to the planning issue first. Oh. Yeah, so basically what Gian already said here on the notes, basically the main objective is to deploy the internal preview with the internal handbook to collect data. And this is what we have been chasing for as the main objective since we have started as a group. And also the onboarding workflow. That's something that I'm pretty interested with. And the other thing is implementing the schema to show our first widget on the dashboard. So, and in the prioritized features, we have the cube rendering widget, the first one that Gian worked on, and I mean that's pretty much done. Because we have a merge MR already. So I don't know if Gian, you want to.
Yeah, so this is still in progress. I'm currently working on it as we speak. The feature is basically done, just finishing up on the specs, so should have an MR ready for either one of you to do the initial review by the end of today, hopefully.
Okay, thank you. And for the new work that we have on store, we have a set of instrumentation screen for the onboarding flow. This is ready for development, right?
Yeah, no, it's actually one of the points that I've raised in our agenda. So I don't know if you want to discuss about that now or to discuss as we come up.
Yeah, let's take an overview and then we jump into them. So allow product analytic data to be exported to JSON. This is more of a backend task. And the two rendering widget type of components, the table that's basically is pretty similar to the chart, and the single stat is not sure how does it fit on the dashboard as a like the element, but it is basically like a single line, for example, for showing the numbers like counts and all of this stuff that Cube allowed us, and a couple of backend issues. So let's go back to the
those just something that I quickly want to note on number 3 and 4. Those are partially blocked by my first visualization that we're creating, because I'm also creating the Cube library to actually get that data and then to parse it into a line chart. So to just parse it into chart format data. So once that's there, then 3 and 4 can begin in earnest. But I think until then, it's probably wise to hold off for now, at least like the next day or two. That's all.
Yeah, you're right. We even have a small section here with information. Okay.
It would be okay to begin working on them after the initial review is completed, I would say. Once it goes into maintainer, that's when you can start beginning, but I wouldn't put anything out there, for review until Jan's work is in, because we are adding a new package to Jan.
Yeah, that's also fun.
Words. So we might end up having a conversation.
Yeah, totally. So let's go to the milestone board real quick. So yeah, this is what we are just talking about. So I like to jump into, I'll skip this block issue because I have been here for a while.
Yeah, until we've got sign off on this infrastructure, that can't move anywhere.
Yes. So ready for development, we have the, this is a backend issue. So I should have filtered this. Right now we are working on what we just mentioned about this line chart. And after we get this first round of reviews, we can unblock the rest. Another backend task, but this is pretty much related to our responsibilities on the front end.
Yes, and I just reviewed that as in the first round of reviews on that one. Once my questions have been answered, it should be going into maintain review pretty quickly.
Yes. And in review, it seems the only front-end related one is a follow-up to add the link to the product analytic documentation. I added this section regarding the how to enable the settings, and I put a screenshot here. So yeah, this is being reviewed. Let's hopefully we get a quick turnaround time here. And we already went through this on the retro, but we closed a pretty good deal of enabling features for this milestone. So I don't know if any of you have any other comment regarding the board.
All I have is the agenda items for what we have planned for this milestone.
Yes.
Yeah. So
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I just have these main points, and I see Rob has also replied to one of them. I mean, we've already discussed the first point, so I'll skip over that because, yeah, like I said, I'll have that ready for review, hopefully by the end of the day. The next point that I had is I just, for the onboarding flow MVC, I just checked with Sam and Dennis regarding what the expectations are for that work, since two of the issues are still in planning breakdown, and one of them, to create the Vue app, is a foundational piece of work that's blocking for the rest. And the response from Sam was that the expectation is that we prioritize the planning so that we can start with the development ASAP, and, you know, by extension, hopefully get it done during this milestone, which I think is fair considering our capacity and the amount of work. So let's give it a shot. See what we can do. And then Rob, you have a response to that?
Yeah, in terms of how far we'll get, it's entirely dependent on how quickly the Vue app gets built, isn't it? Because if the Vue app takes half the milestone, and then we've still got all these issues that need to be built on top of it, it's going to delay everything. But that's the price we pay for planning and developing in the same milestone. My question is, are we happy for me to write the implementation plans for the Vue app and the loading without the state machine that's been discussed? If the mutation that you say your brain's not working on, if the mutation Max is working on is coded and deployed, and we get the Jitsi key added to the project's GraphQL endpoint, would we be okay to go with that and then add the state machine as a secondary point after the fact to, you know, tidy everything up and make everything nicer?
I agree. Yeah, I share your sentiment, Gian.
Yeah, so I think totally fine with what Max has for us. I think we can make it work. So I think for a first try, let's just keep in mind that we'll create the fancy long-term solution in a next iteration. So I think for now, I'm fine with this as long as we can just keep it as simple as possible, and just keep in mind that it's going to be a first iteration. So I don't think our app needs to be like the gold standard in state management right now, because once we have that state machine, it's going to be a lot better. So I think for now, instead of planning ahead too forward or too far in the future, my suggestion would just be that we keep in mind that we're going to have a next iteration that's going to be a big rework. So let's keep it as simple as possible. What do you think?
I'm happy with that approach. I can write those implementation plans this afternoon so we can actually start assigning these two tasks and get work going. I can always do the backend aspects as well for the Jitsi key stuff. And we're definitely going to need that state machine before we start doing the next phase of customer facing, when we start wanting more details and stack information and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we have a not too complex state to handle right now, so it's okay if we wait for the state machine. And Rob, you also have the next point.
Yeah, I have pinged you both on the issue. Sam's responded preferring option 3, but I have finally got those designs done to get the user to come back to the tracking setup guide afterwards, after they've completed and implemented their tracking details, and actually got some dashboards showing up. So this is a contentious point that Sam said needed to be done for this MVC. However, we can't actually do it, the whole linking back, until we've completed the tracking view. So it's an end of the MVC piece of work to have completed. Sam's, feel free to take a look, async, and respond in that. Your preferences, Sam, as I said, has preferred option 3 as a separate page rather than a modal, which I kind of agree with. But if there's any other suggestions you guys have or want me to scope out and have a play with, let me know.
Thank you. Yeah, this looks pretty well. And we can take it offline.
Yeah, I have the next one. I just wanted to quickly discuss, because that's usually part of our kickoff, is just eyeing who wants to take on some of these open issues, since no one is assigned just yet. It doesn't have to be, concrete. But Axel, it seems like you're interested in taking at least one on.
Yeah, totally. I'm interested on the single stat one, not because it is easier. It's just that it deals with a few concepts that I work on the POC. That's basically with discounts and how do they work, and yeah. So I might, if you guys agree, I might take ownership over this. So I could push it forward. I believe that was the let's say the objective of.
Yeah, go for it. Please feel free to, or can I assign you quickly to that single stat one?
Thank you. Oh, I'm not logged in. Oh, that's why
I just assigned you. I'll provisionally assign myself then as the DRI for the table. But if you find yourself finishing quickly or whatever, we can always, and you're also interested in doing the table, we can also just swap. I think it just helps for the rest of the group if all the issues have a assigned DRI, so that there's someone to ping instead of pinging the entire group on like open issues.
Yeah, I'm not, as I've written, I'm not sure what allocation I'm going to have for front end this milestone. I need to talk to Sam and Max around how much support they need from a UX and back end perspective. Yeah, I'm just going to have to pick up behind you guys and pick up the things that you're not working on, probably.
No worries. I mean, you have that big implementation plan to do, and there's also still remaining backend work and design work. So it's not like you're not busy.
Yeah.
I would like to do some fun front end at some point. I haven't touched Vue in a while, except for fixing bugs.
Maybe we can alternate with the you can do the Vue app, and then I can pick up some of the design stuff.
Oh yay, the fun one.
Hey, I mean, you don't lick a gifted horse in the mouth, or what's the saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have the next point. I put this here because basically to talk about the onboarding flow MVC, like what's the and this is maybe a question for Rob, like is there something we can start working on right now? And I know that's a pretty general question, but I run through it and I saw mostly like ongoing discussions instead of a decision. So yeah, just wanted to ask you what do you think?
Yeah, so in that MVC, Jan has graciously put in the description the steps that we need to take to complete this MVC. So the foundation blocker is what Jan was just mentioning around creating that view app. That is the entry point to then start that onboarding process. Once we have that entry point, then anyone can pick anyone from 2 to 5 on that list and start just adding a router endpoint and implementing that, if that makes sense. So until then, no, not really, not until we get that entry point in. So that's going to be the first and foremost thing we need to get done, and I need to do an implementation plan for it. The view app and the loading screen don't have implementation plans because they were waiting on back-end finalizations, which we've sort of agreed on now. The rest of them all have implementation plans waited and are ready to go.
Understood. I thought it was going to carry over the link.
So yeah, it sounds like once we have that app then and it's all planned out, then you could like pick up one of those issues as soon as it's ready for development. We should actually mark the others as blocked for now, maybe to avoid any confusion.
Thank you.
I can sort that all out after this when I'm doing implementation plans.
Yes. So let me take the next point, and this is something that I just want to mention, and maybe we can take a look after this call. I think so. We have this list of issues without a milestone, and sorry. This is the issue without a milestone on the product analytics first set of dashboards. I mean, we have several epics, let's say active epics right now, but I consider this is like I'm not want to say the main one, but the one who I believe this is because
it's got the milestone started flagged against it.
Oh yeah, the link is alive there. So yeah, again, I'm just mentioning this. We have a few of them, a few each. Well, for example, these ones, and
some of these are not what I would call MVC. So yeah, they're definitely a point to argue to have these moved out.
Yes, and so just mentioning it, so because they don't appear on our regular board because they don't have a milestone, and we might be overlooking something there. I was that's what I mentioned it, because when I was preparing for this milestone, I was like, where are those issues that I created? Where I remember this issue like this, and then it was because they don't have a milestone. So yeah, just to keep an eye on them.
So there's 2 points here. One would be to check to see whether issues should be in the epics they're in.
Yes.
The second would be in compliance, we had a concept of next ups, which are issues which are what we're going to be working on next. And you can infer that every issue in product analytics is something we're going to be working on next because we have nothing. Yeah. So we're sort of doing everything at once. So you can so any issue about a milestone isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you can take it on as an idea of, has it been assigned to the right epic? What epic are we working on next? Maybe I should start contributing and working towards an issue that I can contribute to in an epic that we're going to be doing next. So we know we're doing internal preview. Has every internal preview issue been handled? Then move on to the customer facing MVC as a second. So if you are facing issues where you're running out of work, or there's not a lot of front end to do, there are those things that we can always do as a group.
Totally. Yeah. I share the sentiment. Yes. And especially, that for example, that's something that I did on the end of the last milestone. I was picking off issues without like follow-ups that we didn't put into any milestone, but they were like important to work on. So yeah. I also have the next point, and this is just a comment. Like, I'm preparing myself to review a lot of front-end MRs. I have started doing this since a couple of months ago, because when I was working on product intelligence, I was only reviewing product intelligence related MRs. So yeah, any advice? Maybe not in this call, in the it will be really appreciated. I also wanted to take the chance to give you both some praise, because seeing your reviews in my latest MR have been pretty educational for me. So yeah, let's keep it up. So Rob, you have the next one.
Sorry, wrong screen. I was about to actually type conventional commits, something me and Jan do. There is a link that I'm just posting in now. There is also a plugin created by
Nico
what's his
and
name?
yourself.
Thank you. Yeah. Which you can import into your Chrome instance that will give you direct links to be able to copy the headings for those different sections if you'd like. It just provides context to the user, to the person seeing your review, what you mean when you're putting these comments in. Are they actual blockers or not? So it's something to look at. On my next point, and something I've already raised, I don't know what UX looks like this milestone. There was a short discussion that happened in the last UX weekly meeting, but nothing firm or concrete, I don't think, came out of that. John can always correct me if I'm wrong. So we've got another one tomorrow, so I will raise that with Sam again, just to see if I can get anything concrete that I need to be working on this milestone, because we're going to be developing it in 2 milestones time. And I also have allocated myself 5 days at the end of the milestone, or some probably at the end, because I've got holiday, Christmas and whatnot, just because I've got some long-lived MRs that have been harassing me on a monthly basis saying, why haven't you done this since compliance? So I've got a slight reduced capacity this milestone.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. And let me vocalize the one from Gian. So this is the final milestone for you to help out with compliance. And after the onboarding, you'll be 100% an analytic front-end developer. And that's a great news.
Yeah, I'm pretty much 100%, but that's just to say that the pings and the split brain should stop. There's no active feature that I'm working on. I've finished off all my feature work. The last thing that I'm helping out is just general questions that people have and the odd review every now and then. But yeah, the good news is that a new senior front-end engineer will be coming on board, I think next week for them. And I'll be the onboarding buddy. So that will take a bit of my time. But once that's done, then hopefully I can leave them to enjoy their new space and new team. And I mean, they're a new stage, it's like new everything, but I think it's going to be good.
So I'm stop the sharing the screen, and yeah, that's everything. That's a wrap up. Thank you guys. So let's stop the recording.